Welcome to Flying with Doug. I am super excited for tonight's show. I have a very special guest tonight, the former A10 sixth man of the year and fan favorite, Kyle Davis. KD, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Glad to be a part of the show.
Yep, we definitely appreciate you coming on with us, man. What's been going on? You come to UD for 4 years. We see you in the TBT from time to time. How you been, man? What's been going on?
I've been great. Can't really complain. After COVID, how would I want to put it? After COVID, had some setbacks and kind of lost my pops and lost the love of the game. So really been just back here in Chicago, chilling, relaxing, working, just staying out the way, honestly.
Okay, so we obviously hate to hear that for you. Everybody enjoyed watching you play so much and the passion you played with. So to hear that you lost that passion a little bit definitely, touches a little bit. But I definitely appreciate you coming on. We're going to talk a little bit about your career. So let's kind of start back at the beginning. Growing up in Chicago. When you were growing up in Chicago, who got you started in basketball? Who was your favorite basketball player? And when did you decide you really wanted to be a basketball player?
Growing up in Chicago, I had a lot of
Is it the obvious? Is it the obvious answer, KD? Is it MJ? Is it obvious?
Is it who?
Is it MJ? Michael Jordan?
No.
Is he the reason? I mean, is it the obvious answer?
No, I'm not gonna say MJ. Honestly, growing up watching a lot of other players, I grew up under a lot of players. You had Tim Hardaway Jr. that I watched during AAU. I had Myers Leonard, Jeremy Richmond. Man, the list goes on and on. Of the talents that played for the Mac Irvin Fire that came out of Chicago. And then you had guys that played with Mean Street. So you had a lot of Chicago talent that I grew up looking up to. Kiefer Seitz, another guy that went to Wisconsin Green Bay. Malcolm Griffin, went to High Park. Man, the list can go on and on for me with the guys that kind of influenced the game. But for the most part, I think it was my family, my uncle, my cousins, guys that played basketball growing up. My pops as well. So it was a lot of influence.
That's awesome. So, you're growing up in Chicago. You end up transferring your senior year to Morgan Park. You became a 3-star on some publications, a 4-star in others. Growing up in Chicago and in obviously a very talented system, who was the best player you played against in your time playing at Morgan Park? Because you had to play some damn good players, dude. Playing in Chicago at that time.
Players out of Chicago that was great.
You had to play against.
I had a list. I mean, Kendrick Nunn was one. Jabari Parker, as always.
Yeah.
You had Jalen Tate. You had the guys from Curie, Cliff Alexander. You had guys everywhere. I mean, it was a battle against every school you played against. I mean, to me, hands down between like the mid 2000s to the late 2000s. I think that's when competition was serious, like everywhere. I mean, you could go around the city of Chicago to almost every park, and you could see a field with people out there playing basketball.
I mean, you named 6 or 7 guys who all went high D1 and just damn good players. So you guys win the Illinois state title your senior year, and you obviously were a key cog in that. Did you have any teammates that went D1 also?
Actually, my whole everybody that was at Morgan Park actually went D1 between seniors, juniors, sophomores, freshmen. On that team, I had Joshua Cunningham, which I later had at Dayton. Xavier Taylor, that former teammate, that was my big man. He went to IPFW. My point guard, Marquis Williams, went to Daytona in Florida. Nice. Billy Garrett Jr., of course, went to DePaul.
Okay.
Man, I had Charlie Moore, Lamont Walker.
Loaded.
Yeah, we had some players, but yeah, I mean,
Okay, so to transition off of that, you're coming up, you're getting ranked. You're one of the top 10 players in Illinois. Depends on who you ask. What's the recruiting process like at that time? You know, I saw a list of schools that were interested, that you had offers, but sometimes 10 years later, those lists aren't always perfect. Who was your, let's say, top 3, top 4 schools that you were interested in and had offered you in your by the time your senior year?
um, it's crazy to say this. Later down the road, Louisville, Louisville had was trying to jump on the radar, but top, I'll give you my top 5. At that time, it was Xavier.
Yeah,
It was definitely Xavier. I want to say Xavier, Dayton. Crazy to say this. Wichita State. Dana Ford had left Wichita State and went to Illinois State. So Illinois State was another school that was on me hard.
I saw them. Yep.
Colorado for sure,
Nice.
and oh man, it was a lot of them. USC was another one.
Really, USC.
Yeah.
Okay, so you do end up choosing Dayton, but what kind of was the deciding factor in that? Because coming to Dayton, Archie Miller, the team was like 17 and 14 the year before you came, and then everything literally changes when you guys show up. So what was the deciding factor to get you to come to UD?
The deciding factor with UD was so funny, and this story is forever will be the same. My father had a conversation with Sonny Vaccaro, and everybody that knows who Sonny Vaccaro is, the guy who got Michael Jordan his deal, the guy that settled for Ben Wilson's death, his settlement and what he was going to get. So Sonny Vaccaro played a big part in it because at the time my father knew Sonny Vaccaro well, and
Gotcha.
they had multiple conversations about me and about my game. And Sonny Vaccaro had told my pops, no matter wherever I went, if I was good as a basketball player, as he heard about me, that coaches will find me, people will find me. And when he heard that Dayton was in the mix, he had told my pops, he was like, if he decides to go to Dayton, he should have a great career there. And it was not only that, but the atmosphere, Archie and the staff, the way they recruited me, the way they show love. They not only got to know me, they got to know my family.
Yeah.
Um, they gave me the opportunity as well with the guys that they was recruiting, Scooch and Kendall. We was able to build a relationship off of that, and initially all of us agreed to come there, and we made history.
Yeah, no, trust me, we're going to get into that because you guys were the winningest group in Dayton and the last, how many ever years, incredible record. So you decide to come to Dayton. Archie Miller plays a big part with his coaching staff. Before we get into that freshman year, Archie is kind of an interesting figure among Dayton because, he's a hard ass at sometimes. And then you get the other side where, he's just a good coach who helped lead you guys to incredible heights. What was your relationship like with Archie Miller during your time at UD?
Shoot. I mean, I think all of us, well, I ain't gonna say all of us. I think most of us that played under Archie could describe Archie as like a father figure, a guy that let us be us, kind of let us. He was he tried to keep us on the right path, but let us grow up as our own man in a way. Yeah, he was our guide. That was the leader that we looked up to, and eventually he let us lead the team basically.
Nice. Yeah, and then he was quoted as saying, which is really cool. You were one of the best guys he's ever been around. So that was a nice quote from Archie about you. But let's get into that freshman season because you commit to UD. You are a high profile player out of Illinois. The first year you did have you had a nice dunk in the Maui to open the year, but playing time was a little limited coming in. I think you ended up playing. You played in all 35 games. You started one. the minutes, though. You were right around 8 or 9 minutes a game. What was it like being such a high-profile player, just coming off a state championship? You come to UD, and it takes time. So what was that first year like for you where, you weren't necessarily one of the guys, but you were working into that role?
It was tough. It was tough. Not even gonna lie, it was tough. That summer we had all worked out crazy, and we actually got a taste of what a college workout was really about. Like we got our ass kicked.
Yeah.
I remember all three of us being in an arena working out, and it was just us and going hard. And after that workout, we was dead. So, um, you know, sitting back not playing minutes, it was hard, but also helped me as well because it made sure that, I had to make sure that any given time that I was thrown out on that court, I had to be ready. So it
Right.
kind of kept me locked in and kind of molded me and helped me for the next couple of years. Sitting behind all them guys, we had some great guys on the team,
For sure.
and just sitting back learning a lot of things from them guys made me and everybody else a better player.
Yeah, no, I mean, you can see because the growth into your next year, you guys do finish 26-11. You have that Elite Eight run. You get to experience what it's like going deep into the tournament, and you guys end up playing Florida. It's a back and forth game. They end up pulling away. I think they won by 10, if I don't remember correctly. I remember going down and watching you guys. I believe it was in Memphis, wasn't it? Yeah, I think you guys played in Memphis, so that was in the Elite Eight game. That was really cool, and that was the moment I remember in my head. Like Scoochie came in because it was a rough game, and Scoochie came in and kind of took over at the point guard, and that was the end of the story. He was going to be the point guard going forward, and we kind of saw you guys all close out the game together, and that was when we knew, okay, these are our guys. So sophomore year, you guys go 27-9. You really come on. You start 35 of the 36 games. You're up to 30 minutes a game. You're getting more shots. You're getting more looks. And then you're really cementing yourself as one of the best, if not the best defender in the A-10. What was that jump for you in the summer to your sophomore year where, some guys graduate, some guys move on, you get to step up, you're now one of the guys, and you're starting every game, key contributor. Again, one of the best defenders in college basketball at the time.
If I'm not mistaken, coming off that freshman summer is when I broke my wrist.
Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, during that summer. So all in my mind was like, it kept playing in my mind like, this is a setback, this is a setback. So when I had a conversation, sat down with Archie and Tom Ostrom, it's like, no, we expect you to be ready to rock and roll when the season starts back up. So when I heard them words from them guys, it was like, okay, it's time for me to lock in. Like, even though my wrist broke, I'm in a cast, it doesn't stop me from improving my game. And that's one thing Archie father had said to me over that summer. Even though I was in a cast, he was like, yo, shoot the ball with your opposite hand, work on your opposite hand while you're in the cast. And, that summer was the motivation.
Yeah. So, you get that feedback from those two guys. Question, let's act like that first season is today's game with the NIL and the transfer portal the way it is. Any thought in your mind that you would have left UD after only playing 7 minutes and kind of 8 minutes a game? Would there been any thought, or were you too locked in wanting to be one of those guys?
Now that I sit back and see all
the money,
no,
the
it wasn't.
school.
It was never like that. That's one thing, and I'm pretty sure the other guys, Kendall and Scooch, can speak upon this. We never thought about that.
Okay.
We was too focused on what we did our freshman year, what the goal that we set for our freshman year. We had always told each other coming in like, hey, we winners. We were born to win, and that's what we're gonna do here on the next level. And we had our ups and downs, but we stuck it out and made it happen.
You guys really did. Yeah, like I said, 27-9. You bump up your averages. You're up to 7 a game. You're over a steal and a half a game. You're passing, you're rebounding. it's just everything. You're getting everything done. You guys make a run. You end up losing to Oklahoma in the third round in a really tough game. I look back at that, and you guys always played high major teams really, really well. You guys always excellent on defense. It was just always impressive because if we were going to play a big time team, I was like, all right, these guys are ready. We're going to be competing. It's going to be a close game no matter what. And you guys did that every time. So junior year, you guys you get the average up to 8. You're 3.5 rebounds a game, 2.5 assists, almost another steal and a half. By your junior year, you guys go 25-8. You continue winning. You continue this incredible run. By your junior year, you are one of the guys. You're one of the guys. You are one of the main guys. What was your thoughts going into your junior year? Was this the time that you guys maybe felt like you could really make a run and go on to maybe to get to a Final Four? What were your thoughts going into your junior year? Just a little bit of camera issues. 1 second.
Oh,
going into junior year, yeah.
Can't believe I lost my volume.
Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Yep. So yeah.
Nope.
1 second, everybody.
There we go. What about now?
You can hear me now? All right, guys, we're just having a couple technical difficulties. 1 second.
I'm back.
Okay. So, yeah, like I said, going into your junior year, did you guys think maybe this is our time? We can make a run. You're one of the main core guys. What were your thoughts going into your junior season?
Junior season, honestly, junior season was about let's make history.
Right.
Junior year was strictly us guys regrouping. And I laugh at this one because if I'm not mistaken, going into my junior year, I broke my shooting hand, the ligament in my shooting hand that summer ended up tearing, and I played that whole season with my finger wrapped.
Yep.
So that season was all about clicking even more harder. We knew we lost a lot of guys. It was that season was about stepping up and really being leaders, not only on the court but off the court. Showing an example for the younger guys, just showing them what we believe in, how we breathe and how we bleed when we wear, when we put on that UD jersey, how we supposed to be.
Right. So junior year, you guys win the regular season A10 tournament, or the regular season A10 crown. You guys you're the 7th seed in the tournament. You guys end up losing to Syracuse. Tough game against Syracuse. You guys, it just didn't click at all that game. Do you remember any of that game? Because Syracuse, they just put it on you guys. It was a rough one. You guys, I think, lost by 19. Any thoughts on that junior year? Because we had really high expectations, and it sounds like you guys had extremely high expectations also.
That year, Syracuse wasn't supposed to be in the NCAA tournament.
No, they were not. No, they weren't. They got in real lucky.
So with that being said, that was also the same year, if I'm not mistaken, the brackets got leaked.
Yes.
So it kind of, and this is not a excuse, but I feel like our focus, we lost that focus when we seen, Syracuse is back in here when they weren't supposed to. Right. Kind of lost that focus. To be honest, that game, I can remember half of it, but that game was like a blur to me.
Mm-hmm. That's rough.
Honestly,
we
got our ass kicked.
Yeah, no, I mean, just flat out, if you look at it and you look back, you're like, the shooting numbers were rough. Nothing was going your guys' way. It just felt blah. And it was because we're just so like, yeah, Syracuse isn't supposed to be here, but I think we can still beat them because you guys always, like I said, raised your level against these good teams. And it just didn't happen that night because, back in the freshman year, you guys ran up against Syracuse and beat them. So I was like, it's a different team, but you got some hard questions. You got some hard questions against Syracuse after going into your senior year. We just lost to Syracuse in the first round. Can this team make it happen again? You guys go 24-8 your senior year. You are the 6th man of the year in the A10. You're A10 all defense. It's kind of insane you weren't all A10 defense the 2 years prior, but you had your most efficient season. You shot 40% from 3. All the numbers were up. Your efficiency was great. What was it like winning the A10 6 Man of the Year award? What, all defense. What was it like getting some of those honors from the A10?
It's a memory I always remember. It's a great feeling. I always, and hopefully one day you get a chance to interview, some of the staff members like Archie and them. But I remember after getting an award, looking at Archie and Tom Ostrom and looking at them eye to eye and saying 6 Man of the Year. I said 6 Man of the Year, and I played predominantly most of that season.
Right.
I said that's a tough one to swallow. But I'm like, something, I'd rather take the award as is.
Right.
I don't know. At that time, and I think Archie used to tell us like A10 looked down on Dayton for some reason. They wouldn't give none of us no awards. Not only me, but everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, because you guys, your senior year, 24-8, you guys had 3 of probably the 5 best players in the league at that time. Like every bit of the couple best players in the league at least. So it was definitely, it always felt odd when it came to awards time. Just look back this past year. Deron Holmes is A10 player of the year, and he's the best player in the league by a wide margin. So it's kind of always been that way when it comes to awards. You slight Dayton, but again, I mean, while you were a starter, and I do understand that, you still were deserving of something. So I think that A10 award should mean something positive because you were damn good, and you definitely deserved all defense. Like I said, you probably should have had it the 2 years before, but obviously there was some kind of, but because if you watch Dayton during your run, you were on the best player on the floor every game. And if they probably did not have their best game when you were on them. And that was a constant theme throughout your career. So yeah, of course, only getting one all defensive team is kind of a slap in the face, but that I feel like that 6th Man of the year is nice on the resume.
It is. And when I finally look back at the awards, I'm grateful because it showed, what everything that I put out on that court for them 4 years. So grateful.
Right. Okay. So, and then you guys get to the tournament again. What happened? Wichita State, I mean, they were good, but they weren't better than you guys were. What happened in that game, man? What happened?
I go back and listen to what Archie tell us all the time when you step out on the court. The referee's not on our side.
Yeah.
And,
sure.
We walked in that house. And it's going to be, I know a lot of people might say this an excuse again. I feel like we were never supposed to meet Wichita State at that time with the records that was played. But it happened.
Yeah.
Another game, one of them, another tough loss that I'm pretty sure all of us wish we could have.
Well, here's the thing, KD. If you guys don't lose that game to Davidson before, you probably never even play Wichita. You probably are a 5 seed. It just felt like you guys were always right there, and it just never fell your way to go as deep as we thought you guys could have gone. Because, again, our most successful 4 years, but then we're like, they were always just a smidge away. And, of course, you're a player, and you felt that more than anybody. But, being as rabid as a fan base as UD, we're living and dying by what you guys are doing. And it just is like we were always so damn close to taking that next step.
Yeah. If words wasn't somehow, and hey, the man got hot. Jack Gibbs got hot. Some words was exchanged to Jack Gibbs, and they didn't come out of my mouth, but some words was exchanged to him, and he just got hot. And it was no answer for it. He got hot, and hey,
yeah, no, it's a memory, that's for damn sure. All right, man. So we look back on your 4 years in college. Who do you think was the best player you had to guard? Because I know we talked about a bunch of guys in high school. We played some really good teams. We played a lot of NBA players throughout your time. Who was the best guy you guarded?
Chris Dunn.
Chris Dunn from Port Providence, who you locked up, who went like 4 of 13, could not do anything with you. Chris Dunn was the best player you played against in college.
Chris Dunn. I've been saying this since I left Dayton. I get this answer. I get the question not only from you, but a lot of other people to this day when they see me. Best guard to ever guard, Chris Dunn. And I say Chris Dunn because at that time, Chris Dunn not only had the height, he was projected to go to the league. Co-Big East of the year with his teammate. Mm-hmm. And that was one person who IQ of being a point guard that I haven't seen, where just the control of the offense, control of everything. Even when he drove to the hole, he never picked up his dribble and always found a way to drive to the basket. If he ain't had none, find a way to get out and reset the offense. Mm-hmm. And you know, before we played Providence, I asked for ton of film on him. Right. And I remember nights that I just sit down and look at my iPad and just watch film on him.
Do you know how many turnovers he had that game? Because he had more turnovers than he had made shots. He had 7 turnovers that night, KD. 7 turnovers.
I was gonna say 9.
He had to have been seeing you in his sleep that night. He had to have. That was one of the best defensive games I remember ever seeing individually. Obviously, it's a team effort, and you did a great individual job, but it takes a team to shut down a player that good. Do you remember LaDante Hinton? Because he was supposed to come to UD for a while and ended up going to Providence, and that was when they were the co-players of the year or whatever happened with the Big East. But he was a good player too, and you guys did a good job on him also. That dude chucked up like 26 shots in that game because you were locking down Dunn, so he was trying to shoot a bunch. Crazy game.
We all had a tough assignment, and to see how Charles Cook came out and was able to execute as long with me, Kendall, and everybody else, it paid off.
Yeah, no, I mean, that year that was the year you guys went 7 deep. You had Daryl Davis, Bobby Worley coming off the bench. Crazy year, your sophomore year. But you guys, again, one of the best runs in Dayton history. You guys ended up going 102-36 over 4 years. Insane numbers. Do you remember your career high in points?
If I'm not mistaken, was it 18?
It was 18. I think you hit it twice. I think once was against St. Joe's and once against like St. Francis or something. Do you remember your career high in steals?
I want to say career high in steals probably was 5.
It was 5 against Providence. So you had some monster games. Let's talk about your time after UD, KD, because obviously extremely successful. You know, we never got the great tournament run, but everybody remembers you guys so fondly. You yourself, a Flyer favorite because of the way you played on the court. Let's talk about your time after UD. You spend 1 year in the G League with the Rio Grande Vipers. What was that like playing in the G League at that time? Because, you know, the G League back then is a lot different than what we know what it's become now. What was it like playing back in those days?
Honestly, back then it was tough too. I stepped on the court with a lot of great players.
You see some of those scoring numbers in those games, man. Back then, you knew people could put the ball in the hoop, though.
Like, it was run and gun for us. It was either a layup or a 3. Didn't want no jump shots. So it was fun because I played with a lot of more great guys. RJ Hunter, Tony Roden, Monte Morris, Tyler Lighton.
Those are guys that a lot of people have definitely heard of. That's for sure.
Isaiah.
Yeah. Another good one. Definitely played with, just incredible. We'll wait for him to get back. He's having a little issue there.
Yeah.
You're back? Okay.
It was a tough group of guys.
For sure.
I learned a lot. Learned a lot with them guys. For me, Daniel House was on that team as well. For me, it was about just trying to find my niche in the game when I got to that level.
Yeah.
I wasn't I had to learn, I wasn't the strongest, I wasn't the fastest, and there was multiple people that could jump as high as me. So,
Yeah.
just adapting.
And then, okay, so after your year in the G League, which, obviously it was important and it was a good experience, you go and play overseas in Argentina. They call it overseas, but it's still in the same, you know what I mean? You go and play in Argentina. What was your 2 years in Argentina like? Because that was probably a different experience and a different, culture. You've obviously, been to different places, but what was it like actually playing there and spending seasons there?
Eye opening.
Yeah.
Um,
Different world.
Different world, different culture. The city I played in, you seen what a third world country goes through, and to be able to witness that, and to be able to come out and still put on a show for the fans, that's what it was about for me. It honestly reminded me of Dayton.
Nice.
How the town needed a little pick me up, and basketball was one of them. So it was fun.
Okay, I got a slight joke for you here, but what happened to your 3-point shot down in Argentina, dude? You were struggling from the 3-point line. Looking at the percentages, you were struggling from the 3-point line.
um, Getting used to that slippery
Is it different?
FIBA ball was something
Okay.
different. Um, in the town that I played in, it got so hot in the gym where the floor was always slippery.
Oh. Well, the only reason I
Um,
make that joke is because you always had a nice stroke. Like your jump shot was always nice. You had the nice left-handed look, and I just when I saw that percentage, I was like, "Damn, what? I know this guy shoots better than that." So what happened down there?
Actually, during that time, I want to say, and they never found out. My right middle finger was swole most of the season,
Hmm,
and then my shooting shoulder. I used to get tape literally from
gotcha.
right here all around my shoulder. I got midway during the season, I got tossed into one of the chairs
Hmm, damn.
out there and kind of screwed up my shoulder. So
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I mean, but you spent 2 years down there, and obviously, probably enjoyed your time down there being in a different country, but you did get to see a lot. So after those seasons, we did get to see you play for TBT for a little bit, but like you mentioned, it kind of went away. The basketball love went away. Uh, tell us how did you get connected with this independent film, Eight Nations? We saw some reports of it in 2001 or 2021, sorry, but what was it like filming an independent film? What was that situation like filming a movie?
it was actually fun. Honestly, it was fun to finally go back. Well, it's fun to be myself, I
Yeah,
guess. And knowing that, okay, I was out of college and all of that, and certain things that you wouldn't say on the camera while
right,
you're in college, because
of course.
you have a lot of younger fans watching you. Now that I was older and got another shot at some, it's kind of fun. I got hooked up with the film because the head coach Damian Badea, uh,
Yes,
guy that Dayton guy, I want to say.
yeah,
Um,
I've heard of that name for sure.
yeah, I got connected with him and was asked that I was one of the names that came up, and I decided to take my chance opportunity to try something new, and it was actually I had a great time.
Yeah, no, when I was looking through that, I was like, I don't remember this, but that's pretty. I mean, you get to do a film, and it's called Eight Nations. Yeah, independent film that you did in 2021. KD, I really appreciated your time. We've got some fan questions for you, about 5 of them before we let you go. Question number 1. You kind of answered it for us already, but let me ask you this. Are you against playing basketball anymore? Are you against playing in the TBT again if you ever get asked going forward?
um, am I against it? No. Ironically, I was just talking to Devin Oliver about that.
Okay.
Uh, am I against it? No. What I would like to see is some of the guys that started TBT to come back and get together and play as a team.
It feels different. It does. It feels different now. The roster's not. I mean, some guys still play that are obviously UD guys. It just doesn't feel quite the same. So I do understand that. Next question. So you guys played 4 miles apart, you and Kendall Pollard. How well did you guys know each other growing up? Did you guys play against each other a lot growing up? Was there any, did you guys know each other really before the commitment to Dayton on both sides?
So piggyback to one of the questions you asked me earlier, because I know I didn't answer it. I didn't take basketball serious to probably I was a sophomore in high school. So
Okay.
during that time, even though Kendall stayed not too far from me, no, I really didn't. The only When me and Kendall started playing against each other, it was AAU Mac Irvin Fire against Mean Streets. But outside of that, um, me and Kendall, I'm not gonna say me and Kendall, but almost everybody in the city of Chicago that had a rivalry with a former high school player. And Simeon was always a rival no matter where I went, what high school I went to. So it was always great meeting up, playing against them guys.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, when we stepped off the court, it was all love.
Yeah. I mean, and then you guys obviously come to UD together. You guys had that Chicago background. So that was always cool that you guys had that back. What was your most intense practice under Coach Miller?
Most intense practice. I want to say this was maybe between our freshman and sophomore year. It was intense because that's when Archie made us run a mile on the track, and we had times to make, and you know, we all had set times, and if us guys didn't make it, and it was an early morning track run, first time ever I ever experienced this early morning track run, and I don't know what we did the night before, but I mean, yeah, I had all of us hurt, throwing up,
Yeah.
sick. Um, Most intense because later down the road, I remember Archie having to practice because we didn't make the mile mark on the bikes. Archie made us do a pool workout, and it's so funny. I had just got a tattoo. I just had
Oh,
got my
ooh.
my whole arm tatted, and Archie made us get in the pool. And yeah,
You
one
probably
of the most
didn't
intense.
have the wraps and stuff like you do now, do you?
No,
Yeah. So no, you didn't want that ink in the water. I understand that. Next question. Okay, this might be a little bit more private. I don't, and this is a question from a fan. Were you involved when Archie locked you guys out of the locker room? Was that a true story? Were you there? Were you there at that point, or was that the year before you came?
Archie locking us out the locker room. There's been so many memories with him.
I
I'm
bet
not
there is a lot.
I'm not sure if Archie locked us out the locker room. I know I can give you many, many stories about how, and you talk
Give us
about
one good one. Give us one real good
um
one that comes to mind.
most intense. When you say most intense, outside of that, when we was on that losing streak, it had to be my
Mhm.
freshman year. We was on the losing streak, and I mean Archie snapped about everything: missed layups, missed free throws, missed dunks. So,
Oof.
we had a practice, and the practice was sloppy, and we was down guys, and Archie just flipped his wig one day in practice, kind of threw the basketball, told all of us to go up top. We coming back later on for practice. The lights turned out. He made us practice with the lights off. Yeah, some intense practices.
Practice with the lights off is wild.
Yeah, in the
So is
arena,
that to help communication? Was that at his point, or was he just that mad? That was what he came up with.
something. I think it was kind of, he was that pissed off,
Yeah.
and he was trying to figure out how to motivate us, and it just happened that way.
Because that was when you guys lost to Richmond, VCU, Rhode Island, St. Joe's back to back to 4 games in a row. That's
Yes, sir.
during your freshman year. Yeah, that was a rough stretch. So I can imagine how he was during that. Next question, final question. Because obviously, let's call it like it is. You were one of the shorter guys on the team, but you always had great bounce. When was the first time you dunked?
First time I physically ever dunked, I was probably 8th grade. Teacher
Eighth
versus
grade.
student.
You dunked on eighth grade. Damn.
Yeah, teacher versus student game. Yeah, it was my coach. He was right in front of me, and I'm like, you know something, I'm about to try it. And it's funny, he moved out the way, but I dunked the ball.
Nice. Eighth grade. That's impressive, man. That is impressive. Well, KD, we've been on together for about 40 minutes, man. I really, really appreciate you spending your time with me this afternoon. Again, you are a fan favorite. You are one of the all-time best Flyers to watch. We appreciate you. Thank you for what you did for the university. Thank you what you did for the program. You guys really changed the way people look at the University of Dayton in terms of the winning and the excellence you guys had on the court. It's been an absolute pleasure for me talking to you. So thank you very much, man.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me on here. You know, I'll do this anytime for you.
All right, man. Well, hey, I'm going to keep you to that. Oh, one last question because we got to flip it to the modern side. Who is your favorite current Flyer to watch play? If you get to watch the team play.
Favorite current Flyer to watch play. All the guys, honestly.
I didn't know if you liked one of the guards or something better, but that's
You
a
know,
good answer.
all the guys. You know, whenever the guys get to come up here in Chicago and play, I love to go out and watch them play.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And definitely appreciate your support. So, guys, that's been Kyle Davis, fan favorite, one of the all-time guys. Kyle, thank you so much. We'll definitely be hitting you up soon for a return. And until we see you next time, man, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, man. See you later. All right, guys, that was Kyle Davis. Incredible. Cannot thank him enough for spending some time with us. 40 minutes from him. Great stuff. And some new adventures here on Flying with Doug, joining the TKDS network. A lot of changes coming, but thank you guys for the support. 150 live viewers. That's incredible. Thank you all. And go check out this interview with Kyle Davis. We definitely bring up his career. We talk about his high school career, and we go into some stories about his time at Dayton. Fun interview for me. So this has been Flying with Doug, and we will see you next time.